What's up guys, and welcome back to another replay cast. Today's game is between Flash and Soma. We are on Dominator for today's game, and this was one of 3 games that were played on the 28th of June 2025, so just a little bit less than a year ago. I have the other 2 games in my replay pack. I think they played a few more, but I obviously only saved the games that go I suppose long enough to make them worth casting. So I'll bring you the other games in that little practice session between the 2 players. You can see it's C9, so it's probably just C9 clan practice. Flash mentioned on his stream that he was practicing quite a lot with Soma at the time. So we will see how today's game goes. Yeah, man. So the ASL 21 final. Whether you're watching this pre and you're wondering what is going to happen, or you're watching this post knowing what happened between the 2, I think it's going to be a really good final. Probably one of the first good finals in quite a few seasons, although last year Snow versus Soma, it was exciting, but it was a little one-sided. I'm hoping this final was competitive. I think it's, whether it was or is going to be again, depending on when you watch this. Definitely a game between the top 2 players in the world. I think, Flash has more than proved that he is back at the top where he probably belongs. And many feel that Soma is definitely the best Zerg player in the world. So it stands to reason that people will consider this to be a game between the best of the best. And we did a pool first. Sorry, we did a pool first. My voice just freaking disappeared there for a second. A little unusual to see a pool first in a TVZ, but that's what we're going to get. Flash is going to come down and scan this and be like, that's a little odd. Just by the way, guys, thank you so much for all of the recent subscriptions, support, likes, engagement on the channel. It's very, very much appreciated. If you do enjoy what you watch today, please do hit that like button. I really, really will appreciate that. And if you haven't already, consider subscribing to the channel, man. We have a pretty cool variety Broodwar vibe here. And I think lots of people have joined the tribe recently. And we'd be very happy to have you. I've also very, very recently started up a Discord server. The link is in the description. And you can get to know me a little better, come hang out with me there, and you can also get the replay of today's game, along with a number of curated replays that I have saved in specific dedicated replay channels for all of the best players in the world. So I think that is a pretty decent perk, and of course you get the added benefit of hanging out with me, which is, lovely. Alrighty, so Ling Speed on the way, Lair on the way, a little bit of a different opening from Soma. He's compromised a bit of economy in exchange for the earlier pool. I don't really know why. I don't see what it is that he has to gain from having these lings on the map. I don't think he's any safer than he otherwise would have been against anything other than perhaps a bunker rush, which is something that I have seen Flash has a tendency to do sometimes if he's, I don't know, like in the mood. But other than that, very, very strange to see this deviation from a good Zerg player. Spire is being made in the natural, and we're progressing into a normal game. We've been getting licorice all sorts from Flash recently, so a lot of mech builds. We see he's going factory here again as well. We've seen him do 2 port, we've seen him do Valkyrie, we've seen him do Goliath, and we've seen him do a triple tech switch where he opens mech and then Valkyrie and then pivots back into bio. So he sure does have a variety of builds. This is a very quick starport, so this looks like it's going to be the Valkyrie build. I've been doing quite a lot of Terran versus Zergs lately and quite a lot of Flash games lately. And I'm really enjoying the variety and different builds that he was constantly practicing. This is kind of at the time where he's back on his rise to the top, if that makes sense, as he's sort of slowly but surely getting more competitive and more into the swing of things. As this is going to be Flash's final ASL, in other words ASL 21, I do feel like doing quite a lot of his games in 2026, which is his last competitive year of Brood War. Kind of makes a lot of sense, right? It's like a tribute to the legend, the OG, one of one, who is our friend Flash. And I think, generally speaking, if I look at the view counts, there is definitely a bit of sentiment, interest, and excitement around Flash being back in Brood War. It makes everybody and everything about Brood War more interesting. And, you know, it's been really amazing having people like Jinjin who cover the behind-the-scenes comments, feedback of Flash, talking about some of his matches, some of the other Korean pros, talking about some of the hype games that were played in various competitions. He does amazing work for the Brood War community. And it's been really good to see him grow. It's really, really well deserved. So our first couple of mutas have arrived. Our mutas are later than the otherwise would be, and they're going to have the headaches of the Valkyries to deal with. Link's kind of just posturing around here, checking what's cooking. So it is the Bio Valkyrie start. It's always just interesting to understand how this ends up pivoting, but there is usually a move out timing with this. I like this expansion on the sort of adjacent main base position from Soma. I think if he can buy himself enough time with his mutas, he likes to get up to Hive really, really quickly. So I expect that he will be able to Nidus that up, and obviously if he plays the conventional way, Lurkers will be the way he protects himself. So he gets the good news about the Valkyries. And the power of the Valkyrie opening, of course, is that it fends off any real meaningful mutalist harassment until the Zerg can get a lot of Scourge, and we can see 4 sets of Scourge are being made. Of course, and then the Overlord snipes is the other part of it. But of course, I think the main thing is offsetting the good start. That is the Valkyrie, is the cost, right? It's very, very expensive to rush all the tech to get the Valkyries, so it's not that popular. You don't really see these builds very often. It's kind of something that Terrans were experimenting with, so I'd be kind of curious to see how this goes. But look at this. This is one hell of a fight. Holy crap, he's just shredding through this bio. That was a beautiful engagement for Soma. Still taking the time to micro the mutas. That was one hell of a dive. And when you stack the numbers, there just seems to be a huge sea of white and only a handful of mutas, lings. But the mutalings got the job done, guys. We just see him scanning the natural. And we don't have any upgrades. We do have the carapace upgrade. Obviously that helps a bit. And our bio units are unupgraded. So kind of playing a small part, I imagine. I reckon he would have had time to get the stem upgrade already. He's making more. He's now getting vulture speed, so I think he wants to use his vulture play now and transition into a little bit of a mixed bag. You can see he's got the barracks, he's got the one factory, he's still making Valkyries. This is kind of like stuck in the middle, right? There's no specific tech path. There's just a nice mix of units. Vulture speed, I think, is going to be for harassment. Soma doesn't seem to have any interest in that, though. He wants to kill the Valkyries with Scourge. A lot of Scourge connected with Van Valkyrie. Van. I've taken on the Valkyrie accent, apparently. And the other one kind of got away scot-free. So that was a little bit tilting if you're a Soma fan. I think he had enough Scourge to probably take down both there. So the Vultures are going to be good to engage with the Lings. We're making Lurkers to protect the space here, which I think is good. Soma feeling comfortable enough with his map control to take a fourth. Has established this base here. Scans to see if there's any Lurkers on the high ground. He can see there are none. He's going to make Sunkens here because he knows once these Lings die, which has now happened, he's going to have a very, very tough time defending these drones. There are 6 drones as we start. There are now 4 drones as we start, but the Sunkens have come up. So Holds that, losing a few drones. Flash somewhat unrelenting. This is also definitely a pressure build, fair to say, from Terran. Lurkers do finally now hit the field. Uh-oh. I don't think any of those Scourge actually connected. No, they didn't. Oh my god. That is so frustrating. Alright, well, a couple of Lurkers. No, he actually has to cancel this base. Really well done by Flash, forcing the cancel there on the 4th. I think that's going to scale significantly as we move into the second phase of this game. More mooders are being made, so we haven't switched yet. Our hive is about 2/3 done. And that's when I expect to see some different tech from Soma. He loves to play with defilers, so I have no doubt that they will make themselves known. Flash, on the other hand, now is going into vessels. He's going to snipe another overlord. Vessels irradiate siege mode, factories. So he's not really using his barracks too much. He has made 1 or 2 more medics, but his main interest does seem to be mechanical units like tanks. Third base here has been established. Soma discovers it real quick and wants to try and harass, but of course the Valkyries are still alive, right? I think he gets a nice scout off here, can see the additional factories being made, probably has a sense now that it's going to be mech. I don't think he's going to have much choice. He's going to have to get defilers. He wants to get adrenal, which we see he's currently researching, but he's also going to need to get hydras. I don't know if he's got the plane, that's all the plane the plane Hydralis upgrades, which are the movement and the range, but I expect he will need to get those pretty soon. It's also getting fast overlord movement, just to try and reduce the sheer number of snipes at this stage. Using scan to see the lurkers, because he doesn't quite have vessels yet, so he does pick them off. Scans the natural, sees that he hasn't re-established the space, so probably going to go apply some pressures. Can you stop scanning so much, Flash? It is freaking time consuming to check all these all the time, bro. Just kidding, guys. Haha, I made a joke. Alright, so I like our lurker stacking here. Going to be very difficult to come up and break this position. But once again, Soma contains your 3 bases, and Flash is quite happily mining on his 3 bases. And therefore, just based on that alone, is in a pretty damn strong position. Chasing down these vultures. Vultures always look a little sad when they're playing against air units, don't they? We are making more factories here, so we are just going pure factory man. And that's why I talk about the triple tech switch. You never quite know what composition he ends up settling on. But mixing it up for sure is our friend Flash. He's got no upgrades on his infantry units. He has got +1 attack only on his mechanical units. Is getting 2-1 though, and getting Karen boost, so this is going to be definitely mech. So, where are the Hydras is the question. Or is Soma going to try and take this on with Cracklings and Defilers? And is that a viable composition against us? I don't even know. Intuitively, it doesn't feel like it should be. Flash is like, nah, man, I'm not letting your overlords live. Sorry, buddy. Oh, Scourge time. Bye bye. Nice couple of mind drags as well. So I think the Flash has taken a 4th, or at least he's tried to. I think this probably got denied by muters. So scanning the natural here. Soma's in a spot of bother though, because he's only establishing his 4th now, and we can see Flash is in the process of establishing his 4th base as well. So I think for Soma to be ahead in this game, he's going to need a 4th and a 5th base, and I just don't know if he has, number 1, the unit volume, and number 2, the correct composition to fight against what is going to become a pretty scary tank Goliath Vulture composite army with vessel support. I think that's going to be pretty tough to stop no matter who you are. So as cracklingy as these lings are, Flash Flash will happily fight with vultures against that all damn day. Sorry guys, the brain is a little broken. We have spent the day working. We have gotten now to a Wednesday evening. It's about 6 p.m. And we've kind of realized that we really need to get cracking on recording some content so we can maintain our upload schedule. So trying to do a batch of games today, but that's going to prove a little challenging. So those pesky tanks that I told you about, well, they've arrived. Queens have also arrived, but they've got no energy. And yeah, man, I don't know how Soma stops this. 2-1 on these boys. Pretty damn scary each way you slice it. Does try and dive on here with Dark Swarm and Lurker Spines. Does pick up that tank. There's nothing left under this Dark Swarm. I'm box selecting just to confirm that. There's one Lurker and nothing else. And look at this. If we take an out of view, Flash is just sending down heaps of units from the top side. Interestingly enough, though, Soma's supply has caught up quite nicely. He does have 66 drones. Did manage to get the 4th and 5th base now. This is the 5th base up and running. It's not saturated yet. If he can get that saturated and redistribute his workers, he should be able to have a fight. He's also brought Ultras into the game. Ultras will do well against this. So if you skip Queens, but you get fully upgraded Ultras, and then you've got Ling and Defiler, I'm pretty sure that is a nice recipe to go toe-to-toe with this mech ball here. Well, no soon enough. So here we go. We've triggered the engagement. Ultra time, under the Dark Swarm. And wow, the blood spatter, man. We're trying to box select the Ultras, but we don't have very many left. The Lings need support here. The Ultras fighting on their own is not optimal. And the Queens are taking forever to charge up the energy to spawn Broodlings. Meanwhile, some Vultures are running around here, just sort of denying and confirming. Flash was sneakily looking at taking a 5th base there, but no luck. Vultures to dive in here. Queens are very close to having... I think spawn Broodlings is 150 though. And Flash is all over Soma like a bad rash here, bro. This is rough. This is really, really rough. Yes, there's some counter harassment here with Vultures and what have you, but Flash is safely mining plenty bases. And Soma's got to hold on to this position. It is critical for this game state that he holds this off. Alright, so our first Broodlings have been spawned. There's only one though. There's a few more Queens about. 125, 125, 116. Oh, there we go, there's another one. 23. There's a few decent ones, and Soma is holding firm. He's fallen behind a little bit on his macro. I think this is quite intensive to micro this fight, because Flash is just all over him. Just checking here if he's got any drones. If there were, they're now dead. And this is going to attack Soma's APM. Uh-oh. He's transferred his drones. I don't think his attention's here. I think his attention is in microing this fight. So he's going to lose all these drones. And so his drone count, which was in the high 60s, is now going to get to about 50 or below. And still absolutely scraping claw and nail to hold this base. The spawn Broodlings now do finally start to scale and pay off. But if you just look at the sheer number of tanks, Flash has got too many workers, you could say. I think 78 is a lot, so he doesn't have that much in army supply. These tanks are now somewhat unprotected, so I think the Ultras should be able to get a bit more cut through. We are hearing the Broodling noise over and over and over and over again. Has sent some Ultras to try and slow these Vultures down. It's got 140 hit points left on this hatch. I would be very, very surprised if he lets that live. So the drones again, and the drone transfer. A little sloppy from Soma in this game. He hasn't looked after his units as well as he probably should have done. Muta's diving in here, but the Goliaths will happily fight those. And there is just unrelenting pressure coming from Flash. This is a sizable number of links, so it's going to slow him down. But you can kind of see the stream of white units flowing through. He did let this live, bro. That is so funny. But focusing on the main objective, which was to basically break this position and win the game. And I think Flash is going to get this one done. It's also lost a high number of drones. Sending some lings around here to mines. Overlord scouting out here, scouting out there. This base is down. And he can now probably kill all these queens. A lot of his supplies are not tied up in queens. They can actually do nothing for him. So queens are kind of like a one spell wonder, right? So you hit your spawn broodlings once. Happy days. And that's the end of that pretty much. Like a valiant effort from Soma here. He definitely hasn't treated this like an arbitrary ladder game. He's played it out to the very end and he's played his very best. And is trying to apply a bit of counter pressure here. This base from Flash is somewhat unprotected. So this Ultra is having a pretty good time. Although against 3-2 mech, he should be able to trade okay. Oh my god, 10 hit points left on the double mine. Hilarious. Soma will not go down without a fight, but he will go down. So he's able to save his workers. That's probably the one minor critique I would have. Splash had a little bit of sort of over, too many workers, a little bit oversaturated. Scanning here to confirm what he still has left. This is his last productive mining base. So gathering up some forces to apply the kill stroke, and here it comes. Does have some nicely timed spawn broodings there, so it does reduce the initial numbers. But there's a huge horde of additional units rolling down to Soma Town. There's probably been about, I don't know, 12 or so spawn broodlings. This also picks off the hatchery. Very nicely done. And that's the end of that one. I don't know if they're connected on Discord or any other ways, but there are a variety of ways that he could have GG'd there. So I wouldn't read too much into the insta-leave. That was a very convincing game. Flash plays this Volk open into bio, into mech pathway very well. The backbone of this win, though, is 100% macro, right? Getting his third base up pretty quick, getting into a fourth base, denying the fourth base of Soma for quite some time, getting his upgrades, and then just sort of running him over. So, very nice one from Flash. I will bring you a couple more games from this day when these two were practicing against each other quite soon. So, subscribe if you'd like to see those. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and I will see ya tomorrow. Bye!